And welcome to another edition of Ducks Know Sports. This week, it's my second installment of my NFL previews as I preview the NFC East. Should be interesting, always interesting in the NFC East. A division who at times was the best division in all of the NFL, but now not looking so hot with one good team and a lot of crappy teams to boot. We'll start the bottom team who had the worst record last year in NFC East, of course, was the Washington Redskins. Say the Redskins had a bad season might be the hugest understatement, as they just have a bad season. They had a horrible season. Going into the season, high hopes, possible Super Bowl dark horse, and then everything just fell off the rails. And biggest question going into the Redskins, can they bounce back? New coach, Jay Gruden, good offensive coordinator down there with Cincinnati. So you can do as a head coach. For me, with the team Washington, I would have more got an experienced coach, maybe even a John Gruden, if they could have got that. But that's past. But another big question going with Redskins, can RG3 bounce back? Because that is the real key to the Redskins. Can RG3 go back to more his form he was in his rookie season? That really electrified that organization, electrified that town, really gave some hope to a team that really had nothing to hope for years and years. And I'm a big RG3 fan. I think he's a really good quarterback. I still think Luck is better, but I really like RG3. I really think he can, with the type of person he is, the type of athlete he is, can get back. Will that knee be 100% healthy ever again? Who knows, but I think if RG3 can get back to his form he was at his rookie season and the new addition of Deshaun Jackson from the Philadelphia Eagles, I believe the Washington Redskins can get back on track. If that defense can tighten up, a solid defense, a very underrated defense in Washington. Not like, I wouldn't say a top 3 defense, but definitely in the top 5, top 10 range. Really like the Redskins going forward. I don't think they will repeat as bad as they were last year. I think RG3 can get back to the form he was in his rookie season. And I think the Washington Redskins will get rocking and rolling. I think Jay Gruden, I really like Jay Gruden. I think he's a good personality, a good coach. And I believe the Washington Redskins will be back in 2014 and a possible playoff appearance. Okay, moving on to the New York Football Giants, of course. Interesting team in the Giants. You know, Giants are a team you never count out. A team that's always on. A team that always seems to make the playoffs. A team that always seems to get it done when they have to get it done. But let's be honest, this isn't the Giants team from 3 years ago when they were in the Super Bowl. This is a different Giants team. They've lost a lot of talent since then. You know, losing Nix to the Colts, losing Manahan a few years ago. You know, losing OC to Atlanta last year on the defensive side. This team is now old, not the same team. And Eli Manning, like him or hate him, he is a good quarterback. Like him or hate him. Is he as good as Peyton? No. Is he elite? No, but he is right there. He's a second-tier kind of quarterback. I love Eli Manning. I really think he's a good quarterback. What I love about Eli Manning is that every time he needs to win, he has to win. But to win, you need talent around you. And the New York Giants just don't have the talent right now. You know, they got Victor Cruz, who at best is a slot receiver. They need another receiver to step up and become that outside threat. And let's be honest, the last 3 years, drafting has not been their strong suit. And an old team, a defense that just seems to get older and older as the years go on. Like I said, drafting, they've done a piss-poor job drafting. Eli Manning is a good quarterback when he has talent around him. The talent just isn't there. And I think it's going to be a long, long season for the New York Giants. I don't expect a playoff experience this year. Honestly, I expect probably a win range between 4 to 6 games. And I think maybe you got to think moving on from Tom Coughlin, good coach. But I think after this season, maybe Tom Coughlin will retire. You got to move on from him. And it will be interesting. This team's got to get better with their skill positions. Their defense needs to be a lot better, and they need to get back to running the football, which they couldn't do last year. So you add that all up, I think the New York Giants are in for a rough 2014. All right, moving on. Oh boy. Moving on to the most polarizing team in the NFL. Of course, I'm talking about the Dallas Cowboys. And the biggest question going the season has to be with the Dallas Cowboys. Can Tony Romo get it done? That seems to be a question every year with the Dallas Cowboys. Can Tony Romo get it done? Finally take the next step and get to the playoffs and get to the Super Bowl. We're talking about a Dallas Cowboys team who hasn't made the playoffs in like 4 or 5 years. And every year you just see it. Tony Romo is a okay quarterback, but he's just not that elite guy that Jerry Jones thinks he is. I mean, year after year, they bring in receivers, Terrell Owens, Miles Austin, Jason Witten, Des Bryant, and the same result seems to happen. They have a good start to the season, but then when the chips are down, they need to, at the end of the season, we need to have that key win. Tony Romo just doesn't get it done. How many times this guy failed in the big moment to get them into the playoffs or in a playoffs to the next round of playoffs? I mean, this guy seems to fail time in, time out. Seems to always doesn't seem to. He always seems to get bailed out by Jerry Jones. Not the biggest Tony Romo fan, but that's not the only problem with the Dallas Cowboys. As I truly believe Des Bryant is a talented wide receiver. I want to say that Des Bryant is one of the most talented wide receivers in the NFL. You could put him up there with Calvin Johnson and the best receivers in the NFL as far as on paper. But physically, mentally, he's just not there. This guy is a loose cannon. A guy who seems to be more like himself, thinks more like himself than the team. Doesn't seem to go across the middle for those big catches. Des Bryant, great talent. But you have to think, after all these years, maybe it's time to get rid of Des Bryant in Dallas. I mean, he's a great player, but he seems to be a space case. It seems to do anything he wants in Dallas. Maybe he needs to go somewhere like a Pittsburgh where he'll be under a tough coach. Something like that, but I think Des Bryant's a problem. I think Tony Romo's a problem. And another problem, their defense. They can't stop anybody. They were the worst defense in the league last year, and they did not improve themselves whatsoever. Ever. In the offseason of draft. So you add this all up. Quarterback issue, talent's an issue. You know, Des Bryant's a head case. I just think the Dallas Cowboys, like the New York Giants, are in for a rough 2014. But moving on to a more positive note in the NFC East, maybe the only positive note in the NFC East, the Philadelphia Eagles. After a good season last year when the NFC East, should be interesting this year because the Philadelphia Eagles are a really good team. And I really believe the Philadelphia Eagles are a dark horse to win the Super Bowl this year. I mean, Nick Foles, when he came in and leave for Mike Vick last year, oh boy, did this guy become a star. I mean, just great game after great game after great game. You know, Jeremy Maclin, he's got to step his game up to for the void of Sean Jackson, of course, leaving, of course, being cut and then going to the Skins. But I really like Foles. I really think he's a good QB. Kind of came out of nowhere. No, nobody was talking about Nick Foles, really. A little bit here and there, more as a backup, but nobody, I don't think, thought Nick Foles would come in and perform that well, at least not me. And a defense who's not big, but not tough, but they seem to get it done. They seem to have enough stops. You know, sometimes you don't need to have that, you know, top 3 defense to win a championship or to win a division. The defense just needs to step up at the right time of the game, just make enough stops just to win the game. And a team of the Eagles that will score. Chip Kelly, of course, they're going to be fast. They're going to score up and down the field. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to score a lot. They're going to be a lot of high-scoring games because like the defense will make enough stops, but there'll be a lot of 35, 30 games. There'll be a lot of high-scoring games, but I really believe the Philadelphia Eagles will be great again. I think Foles will only get better. Chip Kelly will get better as a coach. Remember, Chip Kelly's still learning the NFL game. I like the Philadelphia Eagles this year, and I think they're in for a good 2014. But how will this division shake down? Number 4 in the NFC East this year, I believe, will be the New York Giants. Like I said, just not enough talent around Eli Manning. I think they're in for a rough season. Number 3, the Dallas Cowboys, I think, come nowhere near the playoffs this year, like I said. Number 2, I like the Washington Redskins. I think they will bounce back. And mark my words, They are a dark horse to make the playoffs, and again, the playoffs. I wouldn't want to play RG3. Just saying. And number one, of course, I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles, a dark horse to win the Super Bowl. In my opinion, a team that, like I said, QB is only get better, an organization that's getting stronger and stronger as the years go on. Well, that's my breakdown of the NFC East. Of course, my next preview, I will be previewing the AFC North. Should be good. We're talking Ravens. We're talking Bengals. We're talking Steelers. We're talking we're talking the Cleveland Browns. And I'll have a few thoughts on Johnny Manziel. But till then, till next time, I'm Dux, and I know sports. Kind of.